On this edition of the Jesters Court, the Jesters step out of league play and step all over the Hurricanes. We'll have highlights from our friendly Saturday night. We will look at John Evans' scoring outburst in our coach's breakdown. Plus, he may be out of action, but Nathan Heath is still a leader for the Jesters. And in our training tip, he will tell you young Jesters how to be a better leader for your team. And as if there isn't enough John Evans in this show, he's also joking around. Before we hit the road for our first trip of the year, we hit the air with the Jesters Court. Next. Welcome to Walk-Ons on Poydras Street in New Orleans, the hosts for the Jesters Court and the perfect place to come in and watch sports all summer long. Paul Warren alongside the head coach of the New Orleans Jesters, Kenny Farrell, welcoming you inside for another edition of the Jesters Court. And coach, this weekend you played a friendly. It was a chance to see some new players, get some guys in some different roles, but it was also important to keep the momentum going. Yeah. And boy, you got to do all of that.
Yeah, we did it. We did all of that. It was a good opportunity for us to play an exhibition game, which we do every year against the team from Houston. That usually bring in some very good players, and they competed for a while, but we kind of overwhelmed them a little bit, and took us a while to get the first goal. But when we started opening up, created some very good play, and scored some good goals. And for me, it gave me a great opportunity to look at with some of this young New Orleans talent they want to start bringing through in this team and get them into games, into competitive games, and we had some good performances from everybody.
So the Jesters blow out the Hurricanes in a friendly on Saturday night at Pan Am. Let's take a look at the highlights. On a drizzly night in New Orleans, the Royal Court was ready, and so were the Jesters. Early moments of the match, Jonathan Evans with a chance, but he hits the side of the goal. He was disappointed, but that disappointment would be short-lived. 34th minute, Evans plays it into the box. It ends up going to Lucas Curry, and after a couple of nice moves, he buries a left-footed laser into the corner, and it's 1-0. That opened the floodgates for New Orleans. 2 minutes later, Evans is going near post on the corner, and he flicks it on for the goal, and that doubles the Jesters' lead. Second half now, and 48th minute, Curtis Thorne lifting a beautiful ball into the box. Evans rises up and heads it home for his second goal of the night. Just 4 minutes later, Evans on the free kick, and check out this beauty, a bending ball into the upper right corner, and take a bow, Jonathan, you deserve it. But he wasn't done yet. 60th minute. This time a free kick from the corner of the box. And when it's your night, it's your night. The defender moves out of the wall, and that's right where Evans shoots it for his fourth goal of the night. Finally, in the 85th minute, Charles Rice is denied, but gets the rebound and puts it away for the 6-0 Jesters win. A slow start, but New Orleans gets 6 goals in the final hour of the match.
We started off quite sloppy, really. Even though it was a friendly, we were told to keep the momentum high and keep everything as we've been doing, pressing hard, getting the ball out wide, getting in the box early. We started quite sloppy, really, but towards the end of the games, end of the first half and the second half, the boys came through and done a very good job. To be honest, in the first half, I was pretty poor in front of goal. I had a few chances that I probably should have put away, and thankfully I got the header, I got the first goal. So second half, half-time Kenny said, "Oh, listen, the chances will come, just relax in front of goal." And second half, that's what we did. We created more chances, we relaxed, everybody took pressure off themselves, and it came through in the end. Basically, on the first free kick, it was quite a way out. And I had a point to prove because me and Kenny had a chat at half-time, and he said that I needed to be more ruthless in front of goal. So I had a point to prove, really. So I just said to myself, just hit it hard and hit it on target, and I went for that top corner, and luckily it paid off.
Yeah, at the beginning we had a little bit of different personnel, so it was a matter of getting used to each other and sort of finding a way to open up the game, and once we did, I thought we did it very well. We kept possession of the ball. There was really no pressure, it never really felt threatened in the back at all, so I think it was an overall performance from everybody. The more goals that our team scores is more of a buffer that we have, but in general, we don't want to give away goals at all. So the way we start at the beginning is basically how we start at the end. You know, the goal is to not give up any, and that doesn't change no matter how many goals are scored for us. Again, it takes a little bit of a pressure off the more goals that are scored, but I think overall no one wants to give up any goals, and that's how we start the game.
So, Coach, a dominant performance against the Hurricanes, even though it isn't the same level of competition as you'll face this week. But what can a goal-scoring effort do for the team, especially because you had some trouble finishing this season?
Yeah, we were creating a lot of chances, and that's usually, a lot of it's down to good defending and maybe not being as clinical as we should be in the final third. So it gives us an opportunity to put the ball in the back of the net. We created a lot of chances, and obviously, as you saw from John Evans, he had a great night, and great goal from Charles Rice. And we did struggle for about the first 30 minutes putting the ball in the net. We created 3 or 4 chances. I thought we should have scored. But when we did start scoring, it opened it up, and it's, you know, a lot of times it's mental more than technical, and it helped us get there. It helped us get there, and a lot of the goals are very, very good, as you'll see later in the show, and it just helps us overall.
Well, we know the week off also helped you with some of the guys that have been dealing with injuries. Injuries have been a story all season long, and now it even seems that the injury bug is hitting former Jesters, as we learned this week that former Jester Patrick Mullins suffered a torn meniscus for DC United, looks to be out likely for the rest of the MLS season. Really a tough blow for Mullins, who we talked about last year is in a good situation at DC United, and now is going to be out for a while.
You know, like, injuries are part of the game, and you got to deal with them. It's really about how you bounce back from them, and it's really about how you handle it mentally. Knowing Patrick as long as I have, he will just take this as another challenge in his life. There's no door been easily opened for Patrick. He's earned everything that he's got, and I think that he will handle this and come back even stronger. You know, he'll just plan a course for himself, and he'll get himself back in there, and he was obviously on the road to some very good things. And, you know, I'm not worried about him. I know his personality. I know how he approaches every challenge. And he does it methodically and very professionally, and I guarantee you he'll be back probably even stronger.
Still bad news for Patrick Mullins. As we mentioned just a moment ago, we've dealt with our fair share of injuries as well, and one of our injured players is going to be the subject of this week's training tip. Up next, Nathan Heath will tell you what it takes to be a leader. But first, Coach breaks down John Evans' goal frenzy from Saturday night. That's when the Jesters Court continues. This edition of the Jesters Court is presented by Heineken. Open your world. By Rockin' Bowl. Also by Design the Planet. Dream, brand, evolve. And by Walk-Ons. Everyone needs a little playing time.
I wasn't born in America, and arriving here wasn't easy for me. They didn't even say my name right. I thought I'd never fit in. But over time, I gained their respect, and that respect turned into admiration. Admiration into love. And the world better be ready, 'cause I'm an American now. My name is soccer.
Welcome back to the Jesters Court here at Walk-Ons, and it's time for the Coach's Breakdown presented by Heineken. And this week, as opposed to the normal 2 clips, we're going to look at 4 different clips because John Evans scored 4 goals in the game Saturday night, and each of them had a different twist. So let's break those down, Coach. Let's start with the first goal off the corner kick.
Well, he's got himself free, and he's blindsided the defender. But it's a very brave and strong effort to get into the air the way he did. Technically, John is extremely good, and I would expect that from him, and I want to see more from him. But it was a beautiful goal. It was our second goal, and it took the pressure off us a little bit because we were about 35 minutes in or whatever at that point. But I would expect that from him. So, I mean, he's got a variation, as you will see, of ways he can finish in the game, and that was a super goal for us.
And also, what we're going to see on both of these headers is something you talk about all the time, going to the place where the goalkeeper just came from and using his momentum against him. So now let's take a look at that second goal. And this comes off of a great setup from Curtis Thorne. Again,
some of the brilliance is that he's got blindside. He's got blindside. He's not. People have lost him, so he's very good at getting lost. And when the momentum of the keeper is moving towards it's very hard to get back and save it on the other side. And we've said that before. And he's finished a brilliant goal. He's under no pressure, so I would expect him to score. But what he's done is he's been very clever about how he's got away from the defenders that they don't actually know where he is. But also the relationship has already been built with the. This cross was looking for him. And when you look at Curtis and he looks up and he sees everybody drawn towards the ball, he's got back. So there's more to it than just the finish. The finish is excellent. The actual corner was brilliant.
So those were both plays that came off of corners. This next goal is a thing of beauty.
I mean, what more do you need to say? I mean, it speaks for itself, doesn't it? It speaks for itself. He's picked his spot. It bends into the top 90, and that's the reason they call it the top 90. And keepers, no matter what keeper in the world it is, it has very little opportunity to save that because it dips right in under the crossbar and the post. It's a super goal.
Well, and you even told me prior to us coming on the air that the goalie actually made a great play. Actually got his fingertips to it, but nothing he could do there.
He got up in the air, he got across, and he still couldn't stop it. It was superb.
So now the final goal, and we talked about this off camera as well. Sometimes when you've got it going for you, everything goes perfectly, and even on this free kick.
Well, I have to laugh because it went in so sweetly, but I'm not sure he knew the guy was going to break from the wall the way he did and there was going to be a hole. If he knew that, then what a super goal. And maybe he did take, he saw him take a step. But I think it's hard to know. But here's the deal. When you practice hard and you play hard and you focus, sometimes a little luck goes your way. And it was probably a little luck involved in that, and he got his 4th goal on the night, but his confidence is high. He wants more goals, which is great for us. It probably was a little bit of luck. But when you do work that hard to get your game right, things like that happen for you.
So a brilliant night for Jonathan Evans. 4 goals and 4 beauties for him. Now, one guy that didn't play on Saturday night is, of course, Nathan Heath, who broke his wrist and was out this week. But he is stepping in for this week's training tip presented by Rock and Bull and Ye Olde College Inn. And this week, the captain is going to show you young Jesters how to be a great leader for your squad.
Hi, my name's Nathan Heath. This is my 2nd year with the Jesters. I'm a defender stroke midfielder from Manchester, England, and today we're going to talk about how to be a leader on the pitch sort of as a captain. A common mistake when a player's named captain, especially from a young age, maybe they think that they've got to be a disciplinarian, they've got to tell everyone what to do. Whereas I think you've got to be sort of just one of the boys. Just treat the boys as an equal, as you'd want to be treated yourself. If you weren't a captain, or even if you are, just sort of to be on a sort of an equal playing field with the boys. You've got to talk to them as a mate instead of talking down to the boys. Or the same with the referee as well. You can't go and sort of shout your mouth with a referee because it won't really get you very far. You've got to get him on your side as well. As a captain, during a game where you're not doing very well, you've got to sort of hear what the manager's saying. You've got to enforce what he's saying and sort of back him up. You have chats with the coach and listen to what his opinion, provide your own opinion, and then you find sort of a middle ground. Obviously he has the final say, but you have an input into that, and then you've got to relay that to the boys in a way that they're on board, so that they sort of do what you're asking them to do without sort of telling them that's what they've got to do. You've got to motivate them. You've got to help them as well. There's got to be a time where if someone's not doing as you want them to do more than once, if they're making the same mistake more than once, you can't just jump on their back, but you've got to be sort of stern with them. You've got to say, look, this is not what you're supposed to be doing. Sort of get yourself together without getting them down, so their confidence is still good. To be a good captain, you've got to get all the boys on board. You have to have their respect, but at the same time you have to respect them so that they respect you. It's obviously respect is earned and captaincy is earned. It's not sort of who's been there the longest. It's not sort of who shouts the hardest. It's just got to be a mutual respect from your teammates.
Thanks, Nathan. And when we come back, we turn the show over to you, our viewers. Questions from social media and from our audience are next as we ask the coach.
New Orleans Jesters soccer is back for the 2017 season, and now is the time to be a part of the action. Cheer on your Jesters down the home stretch of the season as they square off with their Southeast Conference rivals. Single game tickets are just $10 and $5 for kids 14 and under. Discounted group tickets are available as well. Go to nolajesters.com or call 504-312-3979.
As we welcome you back to the Jesters Court at Walk-Ons, you see some of the great friendly staff here at the Walk-Ons on Poydras Street who have been great to us all season, and we appreciate their hospitality. It's time now for Ask the Coach as we take questions from our audience here at Walk-Ons and from social media, and we're going to start out with Joey from the supporters group.
How do non-conference games like Saturdays help with team chemistry and possible new ideas for formations and set pieces?
All right, well, that's a good question because obviously you build on the momentum of what happened Saturday night. So what do you learn from that and what do you take forward?
Gives me an opportunity to see some of the young players come through. I can try different formations if I need to. I can look at players that I may not try in a very competitive game in a different area of the field. I can bring in young players that I want to see for 30, 40, 50 minutes, maybe a little bit more. It's a great opportunity for us. And it is competitive. We are a league above them, but it is a competitive game. It's very, very vital for us that we have one or two of those this season.
All right, Joey, thanks for that question. And now we'll turn it over to the Royal Courts Roundtable for this question. This from Terry Allen Haynes, who wants to know what's the strategy to keep us on top as we head into a stretch of road games. We've played at home now. Now how do we take this on the road?
No, it's important that the mentality is right and that the preparation is right. I mean, the squads we're going to face this weekend, Nashville and Birmingham, we know what they can bring to the table. We just got to be clever about how we play. We have players to win it, but also it's just keeping people focused on what's important. Sometimes when you win a couple of games, people can get ahead of themselves. You got to slow down. You can't prepare for anything more than what's in front of you. And just looking at the Nashville game and taking a good result from it and being a little bit more conservative on the road than we have been at home. These teams are good. Nashville, this is a top-of-the-table clash. And then what we have to do is rest properly, ice down correctly, travel properly, eat properly before we get to the Birmingham game on Saturday night. Critical games, both of them, and everybody's got to be on the same wavelength as to how we prepare for these games.
And we'll look ahead to those matches a little later in the week ahead. But we're going to continue on social media. This is a question from Twitter, and we remind you to use the hashtag AskCoachFarrell. This is from @SuperKickinIt, and she wants to know, what's been the highlight of the season for you thus far this season? We're almost at the halfway point.
Yeah, no, I think the best moment of the season came after we were beaten in the penalty shootout against the Shreveport Raptors. We were better. We know we should have won both games by a couple of goals. They end up taking, fair play to them, they end up taking us to a penalty shootout at home. I'm not worried so much about losing that game. What I was looking at was who really wanted to take this a long way, and the reaction of our players after that game. It hurt so bad. They know they should have won. That it wasn't taken lightly, and they have not forgotten that. Going forward, every game we go into, that is something that they're reminded of that, and it's not me reminding, they're reminding themselves of it. That was the best moment of the season, to see that we had a team of winners, a team of talent, a team of people that want to bring the championship home to New Orleans, and that, as I say, post losing Louisiana Cup in a penalty shootout, seeing the players' reaction in the dressing room, seeing their reaction at training the next day, that was the best moment of the season.
No, and I've mentioned it in the past too. It struck me that they wanted to have a players' meeting almost immediately after leaving the pitch, a closed-door meeting, that they knew they should have done better, and it was impressive. And
they weren't going to accept defeat easily.
No, absolutely not. So we got time for one more question, and it's Jeff from our supporters group, and you'll see he's a little dressed up. This is an inside joke. I went to the Metallica concert in St. Louis. He joked that if I was not back, he was going to host the Jesters Court. I would argue we'd be better off not airing the Jesters Court than letting him host. But here he is with a question.
My question is for Paul Boron this week. Paul, why won't you let me host the Jesters Court and significantly improve the show?
Well, that's up for debate. I don't know if that would improve the show. It might make it more entertaining and, well, chaotic knowing him. So, Jeff, as the host of the show, you want to analyze how that would work out?
Well, unless we want to move to the Comedy Channel, I suppose. No, look, he's great. As we've been building this thing and, trying to get, people to buy into their local players and buy into the local game. We've got so many fans. that follow the sport, you know, in different countries in Europe and South America, and we got some absolutely fantastic players. You know, he will be the leader of probably a fan club that may have 10,000 people in the future. You never know, you know.
Well, we
and
hope so.
and he's got the character to carry it and the personality those fan clubs need. And but when it comes to coaching the Jesters Court, hosting the Jesters Court, no.
Simply no. And by the way, you mentioned it would be on the Comedy Channel. He thinks he's funny. He's really not that funny.
Well,
You're giving him far too much credit.
Well, I laugh. I don't know if I laugh with him or at him.
You
but
laugh at him, exactly. There's a whole difference there.
I love him though.
Yeah, we all do. So thanks to everyone for participating once again in another entertaining Ask the Coach. And when we come back, we preview our first road trip of the year in the week ahead, plus one of Saturday's heroes, actually the hero, arguably, John Evans, joins the Jesters Court next.
You gotta prove yourself to make it in America. It doesn't matter where you came from. I heard it I'd never make it, but I proved them wrong.
My name? You can call me Soccer.
New Orleans Jesters soccer is back for the 2017 season, and now is the time to be a part of the action. Cheer on your Jesters down the home stretch of the season as they square off with their Southeast Conference rivals. Single game tickets are just $10 and $5 for kids 14 and under. Discounted group tickets are available as well. Go to nolajesters.com or call 504-312-3979.
So, Coach, your match this weekend didn't affect the Southeast Conference race, and in our division, we're still chasing Nashville, but we will see them Thursday. It's part of the week ahead, presented by Walk-Ons. And you see, New Orleans on Wednesday is 2 points behind Nashville, but by the time you come back from Birmingham on Saturday, you could be leading the division. So let's start with that Nashville match. What do you expect going up there?
Well, obviously they're up there for a reason. They're right above us, and if we beat them, we jump them. But we just got to stay focused on that game. I don't even want to think about Birmingham until we play that game, and I don't think anybody else should. And obviously it's nice to be top of the league, but it doesn't matter where you are in the league. You just play game by game, and you stay focused on the next game. And anybody that's looking past that is not got the right frame of mind. We've got a job to do, we've got a result to get, and we should only focus on what we can do on Thursday night. When that's over, we'll focus on what we can do the next day. Win, lose, or tie. That's the way we handle it.
That being said, let's ask you about Birmingham. They're in the bottom third of the conference right now, but they're a dangerous team nonetheless.
Yeah, when you say they're in the bottom third of the conference, I mean, let's look at the conference. Everybody is tying or beating everybody else. So don't think it's any easy conference. It's not. And you know, and everybody's getting results at a certain point in time. Like Chattanooga's finding it difficult this year, and so it's not easy. It's not easy. So, but when you go there, we've got two different things to think about. The environment in Nashville, it's very small, tight field, tight stadium. You know, a couple of the players very, very good in midfield, and you know, we know what we're going in against. And then we go to Birmingham, who have a super wide field, a completely different environment again. So you have to readjust and think about what your lineup's going to be, but how fresh the players are, how well they've recovered after Thursday night, and get into that game. Birmingham have pulled a result out against Atlanta. They've got a couple of ties. They've been in games, so we can't take any one of them easy. So I would take it game by game, just understand the different environments and different styles of play, and let's get prepared for each game as we go along.
Well, before we hit the road for some important business, it's time for some decidedly unimportant business. It's time to joke around with John Evans.
My name's Jonathan Evans. I'm a forward, and this is my first year with the Jesters. If I was stranded on a desert island, I would have to have hair gel, because I'm all about that hairstyle. One song on my playlist is probably Justin Bieber and Ludacris' Baby. That's probably one of my all-time secret favourite songs. My favourite TV show is probably, I like Geordie Shore.
What is that?
Geordie Shore is it's like Jersey Shore over in America, but it's based in Newcastle, and it's a bunch of guys that go out and party and just do crazy stuff. So I like it, yeah. My favourite movie has probably got to be Law Abiding Citizen, because Gerard Butler is just an unbelievable actor, and it's a really good film. It's probably one of my all-time favourites, yeah.
I don't know how this one's going to turn out, Nick.
We're going to stop him. That's how it's going to turn out.
Well, my job at home is actually I work for my family business as a bus driver, so I'd hope to go into the family business and take over and go into that side of things. My favourite dessert is probably apple crumble and custard. That's just my all-time. I was brought up with it. My mum back home made a really good homemade one, so that's all my all-time favourite. My secret talent is probably one of my signature dance moves. It's called the worm. You know, wrestling back in the day. Scotty Too Hotty used to do that on the floor. You want me to do it? Yes.
Oh my God.
You want me to do it? Yeah.
Yes.
How's that? How's that?
Thanks, John, and we will see him and the rest of the Jesters on the road, and we will have highlights and reaction from both matches next week on the Jesters Court at these times. And we remind you, check out my YouTube channel for the shows on Thursday, plus all sorts of bonus stuff. And remember to follow me on Twitter, because I'll be updating the matches in Nashville and in Birmingham. I'll keep you up to date as to what is going on in each place. Plus, I provide you NPSL content each week as well. And speaking of the NPSL, Coach, we remind everyone to check out what's going on around our league in our new show, This Week in the NPSL. It's posted each Thursday on YouTube and on NPSL.com. It has highlights, scores, and much more. And I, of course, will tweet out a link to that as well. Kenny, we haven't had a chance to talk about that show yet. A couple weeks into it. I'm very proud of the show so far. I know you are as well, because it's really broadening what this league does.
Yeah. No, there's no question. It's bringing, I mean, the league has obviously been growing leaps and bounds, and that's a result of what's happening in the United States, basically. As a national league, it's an we have an incredible league. But no, you know, from Miami to, you know, Portland or to Washington, and then from San Diego to Boston, New Hampshire, it's just bringing the whole league together and upgrading the league, and we're getting to see great players across the league do great things. And this TV show has really brought everybody together and bringing. I mean, the responses that I've heard from it have been superb. So if you get a chance, you know, tune in and watch what's going on. This is where soccer. This is the newness of soccer. And you know, if we do happen to get the World Cup in 29 years away from now, we're bidding on it. I mean, these kind of players and what's coming behind them, this is a very valuable asset to the league.
Well, we invite you to check out that show again each Thursday. It is available on YouTube and on NPSL.com. And we remind you to rejoin us again next week for the Jesters Court. For Coach Kenny Farrell, Paul Boron saying so long from Walk-Ons as we get ready to head out on the road with the Jesters.